it's Dale here. I'm still on my calendras theme that you may have if you watched last week's or the week before's or whenever it was. And those are my Margaret Ollie flowers that I have image transferred onto a piece of damask. And I wanted to do things with a surround to cut and paste. So I did, this is the damask fabric. And this is what happens when you get, I've been painting with Dynaflow and to get those colours. And this is what happens when your bottle of paint trips over. But it doesn't matter because it's images and I'm going to collect things that come. So I painted 3 different ones with just playing around, just a bit of slop. And then what I've done is I've painted fusible webbing. And this is, just to show you, this is webbing that's been painted. It's probably easy to pick up. So the webbing is on its backing. And just different ones, when you paint fusible webbing, it's quite fascinating. Now this particular lot of fusible webbing is quite pale. You see here, I'll just pull it off, a bit off there, because I sprayed it with water first and then slopped the paint on, just with a big brush. And I tend to work with a brush that looks like this for this sort of thing because it's nice and big and goes, and everyone's, see it's a well-worn paint one. And then when it dries, it will curl up a little bit and go into different effects. And I'll show you a couple of other ones. This is another one, which is quite pale. The paint, of course, drops underneath onto the surface. And you can use that in journal work. That's the bottom of some fusible webbing that's been left behind on the bit of paper. And so I'll spray it with the colour. Now when you do it directly without, I haven't added any water, I've just painted. Can you see the wonderful crinkles that appear and how it changes while it's drying? And it's very easy to paint fusible webbing. This is the fusible webbing, paperback, or any fusible webbing you have, and you simply colour it with paint. And many people say, well, that's pretty strange. What do you do? Why would you do that? Because fusible webbing is designed to join one thing to the other. So you iron it on one fabric so the other one will stick to it. But when you start to do something like this, and I'll go with this big one. Now, the paint is actually on the top. And what I usually do is to peel it off and put it that way. But I won't this time. I'll turn it over and iron it onto that piece, and we'll see what happens. So once it's dry, all dry, the fabric, and you'll see I'm ironing the paper side. I'm going to have a little bit left over that I can use somewhere else. And I'll just peel the paper away. Give it a good iron. And I want this for backgrounds, and you'll see what I've done if you watch another video further down the track. And when I take it off, there's a bit of residue left here. And because it's on this colour, you can't see too much of an effect, but it's all available. I can put foils on if I want to. I'll just show you how it goes when I left it off. Painted fusible webbing is quite exciting. You can tear bits, use it, applique, little bits and pieces, and then it's just gives that little added. Now, you see how it's muted it just a little bit on there. Bits of stay a little. Now that fusible webbing's sticky, by the way, so don't iron it on it without using some Glad baking parchment or whatever you've got, or a Teflon mat. Yeah. It's not quite like watching paint dry, but similar sort of. Yeah. You may not remember what it was like before, but it has picked up some extra texture and extra dimension. Now sometimes you might put a bit of sheer paper over the top of that too before you stitch on it. It's a little bit tacky, and when I finish the whole lot, if I needed to, I might put some textile medium or something like that over it. So that's muted that down and given some colour, and then I'll start stitching into it. Now this one here is this particular one here, and if I can just get it off. A little bit here. Oh, usually it does, but I'll just put it on here like so, and I'll cover it because it's got extras that come off the edge there. And I'll iron it all down. You see that wonderful print. Then I lift that off. I like all good things, it doesn't work when you want it to. There we go. Now can you see how that's added extra to that sheet and that texture that it's given to it as it goes. Usually I give it a good iron and then I wait for a wee while, but while you're all sitting here watching. So I just added the most. I'll put that extra bit down. And you see the pattern that has given where it came. It's really quite delightful. So it's a lovely, interesting background, something to keep building up backgrounds, and you could keep layering up other bits as well as you go. So I hope that's given. If you haven't worked with fusible webbing, have a go, paint it, and then put it onto your surface that you're working on. So I'll see you again another time. Bye.